Rule number 6, set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world.
Oh, that's a rough one. That's about a mass murderer and about mass murderers.
Yeah. So I didn't get this far because, as I said, I just got this yesterday.
One, man. Well, there's plenty of things to criticize about being. It's tragic, and there's malevolence. That's basically the issue. And you can complain about that. But the thing is, if you complain about that, if you adopt that attitude, which is sort of an anti-being attitude, you go places that if you knew you were going, you probably wouldn't want to go. It's the places where, like, the kids that shot up Columbine went. Those are bad places. Like, if you read the writings of the Columbine high school kids, and you really read them, if they don't make the hair stand up in the back of your neck, you are not paying attention. Like, the one kid wrote things, I cannot believe that people could write. And I've exposed myself to a lot of crazy things that people have done and said. You just can't understand it. It's uncanny, you know. Well, that's where you end up if you get bitter. It's like, well, what can you do about that? Well, the world is harsh. It's like, should you criticize it? It's like, not until you put yourself together. You got to bring everything you can to bear on the problem before you have any right to stand in judgment about being itself. And that's what these mass murderers do. That's what they're doing. That's what they're acting out. They're saying, well, I'm looking out in the world. I don't like people. They're full of flaws. They act badly. They're a cancer on the face of the planet. It'd be better if they didn't exist at all. So I don't like being. It's too full of suffering and evil. I'm the judge of this. It's like, I'm going to make my goddamn case. I'm going to take them out. And then it's more than that. It's like, I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to do it with innocence first. Because that's the thing you got to get about the mass murderer types. Is like, they're not hunting down the guilty. That's too obvious.
Right.
They're hunting down the innocent. That's the best protest. That's why the guy shot up the elementary school in Connecticut. It's like, why do you shoot kids? Well, think about it. Well, I don't want to think about it. Well, that's for sure. You bloody well don't want to think about it. But you better think about it. It's like, well, that's where you go when you take that criticism of being approach. It's like, you don't get to do that. Not unless you want to end up there. It's bad. So what do you do instead? It's like, okay, stop doing stupid things. Stop lying. Stop making things worse. Stop making yourself weak. You know, everyone does that. They know it, you know. And I'm not saying follow the rules. I'm not saying that. I'm saying even in a day, you'll see that you have choices in front of you. And sometimes you don't know what to do. It's okay, you're ignorant. Maybe you make a mistake. Whatever. That's just ignorance. Malevolence is when you know what you shouldn't do, and you do it anyways. And people do that all the time. And that's arrogance. That's, I'll get away with it. It's okay. It's deceit, because you're lying to yourself about whether you should do this or not. You know you shouldn't.
Right.
You know. And then it's resentment because, well, it's like, I'm going to do this bad thing because that'll teach the people or whatever. That'll teach God to treat me this way. It's like, that's the terrible trinity: deceit, arrogance, resentment. It's like, chase those out of your life.